people of the interwebs? Our currents here. So, epic. Some of you may have heard of it. That's probably why you clicked on this video. But if you saw the title and was like, ooh, costume design, I like that, but not know what Epic is, well, here's the synopsis. Epic is a musical currently in development, created by Jorge Rivera Herrens, but also known as Jay, who I'll be referring to him as for the rest of this video. It is based on the story of the Odyssey, which, if you don't know, that's like the story of Odysseus. He goes on a boat, he fights some monsters and all the cool stuff, and also some Greek mythology. Yeah, Percy Jackson fans, you're welcome here. So far, the Troy Saga and the Cyclops Saga have been released for this musical, and there's already like a bunch more on the way. We don't really have a set date for the next saga, but probably by the time this video comes out, there'll probably be some news about it. There's 40 songs in total, but only 9 songs have been released so far. Now, while this musical is not being performed on stage yet, I thought it'd be fun to imagine some ideas for costumes. You know, what the actors will wear. I'll get into more detail in the Speedpaint, but let's put down a few ground rules for each design. Number 1. It must be possible in real life. I want you to be able to see these outfits I create and be able to make them in real life. Now, that's not really a worry for the human characters, but the god characters do have to have this in mind. Now, while I do have some experience sewing, it's on a very small scale, but I am able to keep in mind the materials that would be used, and plus the cost that will cover everything. Because, let's face it, we're going to need all the money in the budget for the monsters. Which leads into the second rule. Every character gets a costume. I'm going in order of appearance for each person and creating a design. So Odysseus first, then Zeus, and so on, so you get the idea. Rule number 3. Monsters are not characters. I tried, but I really have no idea for the monsters. I'd imagine they'd be more puppet-like, so they could like tower over the other characters. But that would lean more into set design rather than costume design. So monsters like the Cyclops, Scylla, and that one monster, they're all out. Now, finally, before we get into the designs, this will be a multi-part series, because I do not have all the brain power to draw all 20 characters or something in one video. That's going to be like 3 hours. I don't want to put all that effort in. Today I only have 7 designs, and each part will also have 7 designs, so it's going to be a even thing. I imagine there's only going to be like 3 parts if I did the math correctly, but I don't know, this may go into a 4th part, and maybe afterwards I might do like a set design video in and of itself afterwards. Because I do want to kind of make some animatics in the future, and maybe they'd be in the style of a stage production rather than my usual style, but who knows. Anyway, let's start drawing and all that. So here's the speed paint up. So first up, we have Odysseus, the main character. The musical starts with the ending of the Trojan War. This is important because the events of the Odyssey all stem from this moment. Odysseus and his soldiers are trying to get home. Now, in terms of costume, this will be the main outfit for all the soldiers. I went with the standard antiquity Greek style. Now, this will run into a problem. If this is going to be the standard costume, a bunch of characters are going to wear the same type of outfit. Now, I don't know about you, but with me, it's kind of hard to tell people apart at a distance if they're wearing the same type of outfit. Think of the people all the way in the back of the house. They're just going to be seeing little dots, and it's just going to be wearing the same outfit, and they're like, who is that? I don't know who that is. What? I don't know. So I decided to give minor differences to each outfit of the 3 main soldiers: Odysseus, Eurylochus, and Polites. The other 2 I'll get to later, but with Odysseus, I gave gold color armor, sandals, and bracelet thingies. They were in the references, and I thought it looked cool, so I thought, why not? I like the bracelet thing. They kind of give like a Greek appeal. He wears an off-white tunic and armor skirt thing. I don't know the terminologies for these things. I'm more of a later after antiquity historian person. Now, the main feature of Odysseus' design is the green cape. Now, you may be thinking, green? The Greeks wore red. Terrible, so inaccurate. I'm gonna dislike this now. And I hear you, but this is where the differentiating comes in. The 3 boys will all wear different colored capes. Now, as before, it makes each character stand out better. If you know nothing in the show, you can point and say, like, okay, the green one's the main character. Alright. And it's a good way to set up a character's importance without introducing them yet. So like you see like a whole group of characters and all wearing kind of the same outfits, but you can see 3 specific characters who are kind of like set out from the rest. So you know, hey, those are gonna be some important characters later on. I should probably pay attention to them. Yeah, stuff like that. But the second thing is the color itself. Why green? To me, green represents nature and wisdom. It just has that effect on me. I mean, you're free to disagree, but I'm right, so... So Odysseus shares a color with the goddess watching over him, Athena. We'll get to her later, but she also wears green in her outfit. That's all you need to know for now. This is a note after I had written the script and started re-editing it. I watched a compilation on YouTube of all the snippets from TikTok, and the first viewing of The Horse and the Infant, you can see that Jay commissioned an artist to draw Odysseus. And what color was his cape? Green! It wasn't intentional, but I found it funny enough to add in. One final thing to mention is that for the artwork, I'm going to be using the likenesses of the people portraying each character for the album. In the event where I get to a character that doesn't have an actor yet, I'll still make a design, but I just won't add any features to the face. Think of like a mannequin, just has lifeless eyes. No hair, it's bald. I don't have to worry about that right now because in this episode everyone does have an actor. But in the later episodes in the series, this may happen. Now, I do want to try and wait as long as I can for the actors to be announced so I don't have to deal with that problem. But honestly, by the time I get to episode 3, I don't think any of those actors have been announced yet. So, depends on how quickly I make these videos. As of this recording, there's no announced actors for Poseidon, Tiresias, Telemachus, and Antinous, who I do plan to make in the next episode. Poseidon and Antinous both had auditions, but no one's been announced yet, and so is Telemachus, but this was after I wrote the script. Perhaps after this video, maybe like the day I post this video, something is going to be announced. I just know my luck, but we'll see. For now, they get the mannequin treatment, but we're not there yet. Anyway, Odysseus' speed paint is probably done. Look at him. He's so cool. I'm very proud of his design. Let's go to the next character. Zeus. Now, I could have gone the stereotypical look and just give him a white beard and all that, but I wanted to give a more modern feel to the gods. In the musical, Jay represents each character with different instruments and such. For the gods, he gives them electronic undertones and instruments, which makes them feel so otherworldly compared to the human characters. Basically, the more divine they are, the more electronic they are, which I think is a really cool idea. So I wanted to incorporate that a little bit too. So Luke Holt's likeness is used here, and actually, some inspiration came from Holt himself. As I was looking up references for like skin tone and hair tone and all that, I saw in the TikTok for the Horse of the Infant, he wears a lightning bolt necklace, and I thought that is perfect. So I included that in the design itself. Something I didn't mention in Odysseus' design about using likeness of the actor, it's really hard to color pick. I try to use like the right color, but sometimes it's too light, sometimes too dark, too red, or the lighting's always a pain to deal with. I wish lighting didn't exist. And it was always just a pain to deal with, and after I started drawing like Odysseus and like recording, I realized that doing that color picking just took so much time, so I just kind of like did all of that beforehand. As for the rest of Zeus's attire, it's a standard antiquity style, but for the sash, I made it more jagged at the end to look more lightning-y or something. I don't know. It didn't cross my mind in the moment, but looking back, I realized I was kind of inspired by Jolteon from Pokemon, just with the color scheme and all that. I mean, it works. Epic did take inspiration from video games and anime. Why not I also? I do like video games. They're cool. Pokemon's cool. I consider Zeus's design to be the most basic of the Greek gods, but honestly, it'll make up for in presentation. I have a lot of ideas for set design, so that may be something I do and after this series if y'all want to see it. I'd imagine that the stage would have like an upper and lower level, and the gods would mostly appear on the upper level. It's hard to articulate. I'll probably put like a picture or something to better show it. I had much less to say about Zeus, so here's the finished piece. Let's go on to the next one. Eurylochus. He is Odysseus' second in command and serves as the voice of the crew and their wants. Just like Odysseus, he wears a standard Greek army outfit with some changes. He doesn't wear a tunic under the armor. Honestly, it makes his outfit probably the best to wear on stage. You have no idea how hot those lights get. And the cape is asymmetrical with it falling off the soldier. Finally, the cape is a stereotypical red. Yes, we get that historical accuracy. The red is often associated with passion, battle, and blood. I chose this for Eurylochus' role later in the show. Spoilers, I guess. It's an old story, I mean... When the crew gets stranded on an island by Zeus, they find Helios' cows. Both Circe and the prophet warn Odysseus not to kill the cows, but but Eurylochus goes against him along with other crew members and kill the cows. And in the clip for the song Mutiny, it shows Eurylochus and Odysseus battle it out. And what is red complementary to? Green. Christmas colors. Haha. Eurylochus also carries a passion for his crew and expresses a willingness to keep them out of harm. It also makes his decisions throughout the show very complex, especially since the crew was starving, so either way they would die. He also wanted to attack the island of the Lotus Eaters, so I really wanted to give him more of a warrior look, which the red looks great with. Plus, Ares is also associated with red warrior, you know? Think of Raph from TMNT, who cares a lot for his brothers and really get his hands dirty to protect them. So that's kind of how I really see Eurylochus as a character. He's kind of like that older brother for both Polites and Odysseus, as being like very protective of both of them and the crew as a whole. Just like the two before, I used the likeness of Armando Julian, who honestly has some of my favorite vocals of the show, although really everyone has my favorite vocals. Most of the stuff here I said about Odysseus' design, so let's move on to one of my favorite characters, Polites! I don't think it's mentioned his ranking in the show, but he's a close friend of Odysseus and a soldier. His main thing is that he likes to greet the world with open arms, and is known for his upbeat and cheery personality. It's why he's my favorite. Also, I love open arms so much. Now, speaking of open arms, this is going to be the first time I give a shout out to another artist, Mercy, if I'm pronouncing that right. She made an animatic of open arms, which actually was my first introduction to the show. In the animatic, she gives Polites a little bandana, which I also included. I also thought about giving him glasses as well, like the actor Stephen Dookie, but I decided not to for historical accuracy, though the history is very interesting. Glasses were a thing for the ancient Greeks, only the very wealthy had them, and they were more like magnifying glasses if anything. Modern day glasses would be invented by Benjamin Franklin. Getting off topic. Anyway, like the other two, Polites' outfit is different. His cape is connected to his armor rather than it being around his neck. Let's say it's a ranking thing, don't look into it. It's also blue. The color blue gives a calm feeling and can put one at ease, much like what Polites does to Odysseus. You can relax, my friend. I also find it extremely ironic that he shares the color of Poseidon, who is a complete opposite in terms of worldview, as he believes that ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. Just like with the others, not really much can be said that wasn't already said before. I will say that at this point I was starting to give up with the sandal designs because they are a pain. It's a small detail no one will notice. That's all for my favorite character. Now onto my favorite Greek god, Athena. Here we have our first female character. Like I said earlier, her color palette is mostly greens. Just like Zeus, her outfit is a mix of modern elements sprinkled in, some being her split skirt and the cape connecting to her arms. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology. I'm not a fashion or clothes person. Clothes. I wear clothes. I just like designing things. On her belt, we got the symbol for Athena, an owl. I just realized I made another Pokemon reference. Remember the grass type starter from Sun and Moon? That was an owl. Maybe that's why I associate green with wisdom. The gods are just one giant Pokemon reference. Okay. Anyway, away from that realization, yeah, I really love her design. As before, the art uses likenesses of Tegan Early. Along with the cape, I really like the neck piece with the wings on it. You can also see the olive branches on her head, since in Greek mythology, Athena invented the olive branch. You know, it's like a whole thing I actually read about in Percy Jackson book about like the Greek gods. It was really interesting. You should really read it. In fact, if you haven't like read Percy Jackson, you should really read it. It's really good. I read like all 5 books in middle school. Should really, read them. Yeah, read them. That's why Athena's my favorite. Anyway, her hair is in the half up, half down style, which I think looks nice. Athena's cool, so on to the last character of this episode, Aeolus. Aeolus is probably the most difficult character to design because, well, Aeolus is a dude. An ugly looking dude at that. Honestly, a welcome change. So, I probably had the most liberty with designing her. Of course, I used Kira Stone's likeness as a starting point. The source material wasn't much help as is with Zeus or Athena, so I decided to lean more with the modern feel. She has a neck piece similar to Athena, but instead of connecting to a cape, it creates a poncho thing. Neck skirt. That's what I'm gonna call it. A detail I like is that on the neck piece, she has an emblem of the blowing wind, which is the actual symbol of Aeolus. So some of the original sources do shine through. The most difficult thing about Aeolus is that the character really isn't ingrained in popular culture. It's easier to add certain symbols that hint towards characters like, say, Zeus or Athena. I mean, Zeus is a lightning guy. Just add some lightning bolts, lots of yellow, you're good. Athena, add some owl imagery, olive branches, you're good. Poseidon, just give a trident, everyone knows that's Poseidon. I mean, Come on, simple as that. Everyone knows those symbols for those characters. Not everyone knows Aeolus. I mean, I read the Percy Jackson books and I still forgot about him. I was only really reminded about his existence because of Genshin Impact, because I was looking for name ideas to name my Wanderer, and someone came up with the idea of Aeolus because, it's the god of the winds, the Wanderer, he's animo element, totally naming that, so yeah, Scaramouche is named Aeolus in my world. Anyway, he doesn't really have that much notability to visually tell who this character is, and the gender swap doesn't make it any easier. So I think it would be more based on the story and the set to give off those vibes. Omitted here are her Winions, since they aren't characters. But I might as well talk about them. I think that it'd be cute to have them be like little puppet plushies. Once again, set stuff, but imagine that Odysseus finds Aeolus in like a garden area, kind of like the fairy garden from The Legend of Zelda, and it just like appear from the bushes, and it's like, never really know who you can trust. It'd be cute, okay? Odysseus finds Aeolus and asks for aid. She gives him a bag with a bunch of wind to get home, but warns him not to open the bag unless needed. In the Odyssey, the crew mistakes the bag to be filled with gold and open it, causing them to go all the way back to her island. Odysseus asks for another bag, but she says, no, you must be really cursed. I don't want to deal with that. Honestly, I thought Aeolus would be my least favorite design because of all the challenges I had to face, and I was worried about it looking too modern. But honestly, it's one of my favorites so far, besides Hermes. But we haven't gotten there yet. That's next episode. And that's all the characters I have for this episode, and wait. Don't scroll down yet. I still have one more special design. How can we forget about the very foundation of any musical? They are like the glue that connects everything together, and it's mainly what I've mostly been cast as in many musicals. The ensemble. So for Tay, it's only the soldier design, but at the end of each episode, there'll be another ensemble design. I'm not going to spoil all of them, but I'm going to include like the suitors, the lotus eaters, and some extras. So the soldiers are just gonna be the crew. The ensemble does not wear capes like the main three. Think of how, like, in Hamilton, the ensemble wears a uniform with red in it to differentiate from the main characters who don't wear red. One thing I'll point out is the sandals. Might as well. Now, I've done musical theater. It's hard to dance in sandals. At least, I think it would be. Crocs are similar enough. I'm not entirely sure about it, but I made sure to have each design support the heel and ankle to combat sandals. Honestly, it's a small detail. I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's art, and honestly, I just didn't want to deal with the unevenness of each leg with the sandals because that's a pain. Now you may be thinking, who would be in the ensemble? And that's a good question. I'm once again going the Hamilton route and say that every minor character would be in the ensemble until their part comes up. Many characters that don't appear until Act 2 also show up here. So like Telemachus, the monsters, Penelope, all those characters can be in the ensemble. It also, in my opinion, makes it more fun since you're not just waiting backstage for like a whole hour, and you get to be on stage and dancing and doing all that stuff. You get to see more to do. Now you also may be thinking, well, if the actor for Penelope and the actor for Telemachus are going to be in the crew, that's going to be weird when they show up. Well, you just suspend your disbelief. It's a musical. And that is the first 6 characters of Epic the Musical, along with the ensemble design, ready for you to enjoy. And if you do like these designs and want to use them for your own animatic or even a cosplay, be my guest, though I would like some credit. Maybe not for the soldiers, and that's just based on history, but yeah, for the gods' designs. And if you're Jay Heron or anyone else in the cast watching this, hello. Didn't think you'd be here. I'd offer to make these designs, but honestly, I wouldn't even know where to start with this, like, patterns or all that. I leave that to professionals. If y'all watch this, I don't know what I'd do. It's unlikely, though, so whatever, I don't need to worry about that. Right? I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to see the next part, and I'll bid you adieu till the next time. Our turns out.